Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Every leader has a journey. With the Leader Speak, we are trying to get to know their journey, what are the hurdles they have faced, and how they're trying to overcome those hurdles. The things that we can learn from them. I would like to thank you all for joining me today at the Leader Speak. It's such a wonderful to have you, Ken, here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. We've obviously been connected for a while on LinkedIn and social media, but it's always great to join in person where we can. Well, virtually in person where we can.
Thank you so much, Ken. So, those of you who don't know Ken, Ken is the founder of Cyber LLC and the executive producer and host of the Cyber Live television show. Ken has won multiple awards in cybersecurity and has trained over 2 million students globally. That's a groundbreaking number. I'm really, really pleased to have you part of the show. Thank you so much, Ken. So, we will start off with our very first question, like how exactly you started off with your venture and you came up with the idea for producing a show. That's such a big thing.
Yeah, so I had a podcast I started around Black Hat of 2019 called Cyber Life, and mostly people wanted me to be creating a podcast so they could follow me during the event. And so I have some people I know that have a streaming TV channel. And I kind of was asking them, hey, when are you going to open it up to men? It's a women's only channel. And so eventually they decided to open up an opportunity for a TV show. And of course I said yes, because why not just have your own TV show? And so that's kind of how Cyber Life, the TV show, was born. And having been a business owner many times in the past, I naturally wanted to protect the assets, so the show and the intellectual property. So that's where the Cyber Life LLC, my company, is formed for, specifically for the show. And then I've also added some other things there as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ken. I think that's incredible to see how things are shaping up. And being an entrepreneur has its own pros and so many things that you have to juggle around, especially between different roles, responsibility. So how do you balance it? Because you are wearing multiple hats right now. So how do you balance that out?
Yeah, and I think you've hit a good point there. People think it's so easy, right? They see it on social media. They see all these gurus posting about being an entrepreneur and you just pick an idea and you go sell it. That doesn't happen. The reality is it's extremely hard. And as you mentioned, you're wearing multiple hats. The biggest key for me and others that are successful is clarity. You have to know what is the real things you need to get done, right? So the way I plan my days and my weeks are a method called ABC, and I forget who actually invented it, but essentially the A tasks are the ones that have the biggest impact in your business or your life or whatever your goals are. And those are the things that have to be done each week. And you break those down into daily tasks that are ABC. The B tasks are ones that are, it'd be nice to get this done this week or today, but it doesn't have to. Like maybe it could wait a week or two. And then the C-level tasks are things that are really just nice to get done or nice to have, but it's not something that's critical to your business or to your goals in life. And so let me just kind of give some examples real quick of what that might be. So an A-level task might be that I'm actually writing a book right now. So an A-level task for me is I need to get done, chapter 1 of the book this week. And so what I might do each day is break that down into, I need to write 300 words or whatever to get to finishing that chapter in the week. A B-level task might be I want to add more things to my workout. I want to add a few more exercises to my workout this week or do an extra day of working out. And maybe I get too busy and I can't do that this week, so I add it in next week. A C-level task is I want to read all the books on my bookshelf, and I've got probably, I don't know, 300 on this shelf right here. It's probably not going to happen, right? It's nice to have. It'd be great to get there, but that's not a realistic type of thing that's really going to happen. And just reading all these books isn't going to give me any impact really in my business. It'll have a little bit, but more impact comes from action. So that's kind of the method I use to stay focused, and it really helps me stay more productive in my business.
Yeah, I totally agree with your plan of action, that which is important. Let's do it first and then balance out the rest of the other things, because right now we are all working from home. There are so many things that are going on. So prioritizing is very, very important and is the key. And I think when we go back to the new normal, We will have to prioritize things the way that we want to have it achieved in a week, in a 2 weeks time, and which is very important. Now, when you do all of these things, there are some major concerns which come your way when you start your day. So can you highlight some of them? Because being an entrepreneur has financial and whatnot concerns. So if you can highlight some of them for us.
Yeah, the only focus that should be yours as a business owner is profit and getting your brand out there, right? So sales and marketing, essentially. Everything else doesn't really matter. You know, too many business owners spend a lot of time on social media, liking posts and commenting on posts. And unless that's closing a deal, it's just one of those C-level tasks, right? It's a nice to have type of thing. The only thing that matters in your business is profit, because without profit, you don't have a business. You just have a hobby, and usually an expensive hobby. You spend a lot of money. So typically what I'll do in a day is I'm not going to check emails first, because you get distracted off your major goals for the day if you start checking a bunch of messages. And everyone's got all these fires they throw at you, and then you have to put out the fires. And in reality, if you just focus on that major task you have the day, it usually will put out a lot of those fires automatically, and you'll learn that those aren't as important. So where I've seen a lot of other business owners I've coached struggle at is starting their day and staying focused is probably one of the most difficult things for them, because they start getting on social media and all these things that are distracting. And you have to, if you really want to be successful in your business, you have to stay laser focused on exactly what you're trying to do and making the money. There's nothing wrong with making money, right? I grew up very poor. Back then, I didn't help anybody. I had no money to help people. Now I'm able to actually, sponsor people for conferences and help them with certs and buy them books. All these things that I wanted to do as a kid, I can actually do them now. So there's nothing wrong with making money in your business.
Yeah. And if you have to share three learnings, if you have to teach your mentees or your juniors three lessons from the experiences that you have, so what would be those three lessons that you would share it with them?
Sure. Yeah, it's tough to just narrow down to three, but number one being clarity. You have to know exactly what who you serve, who's the actual target audience, what problems you actually solve, and make sure they're actually problems that they want to get solved. Because not everything that you think of as going into creating a business is going to be a legitimate problem that the marketplace has. The second thing I would say is that you have to learn to prioritize. It's yeah, I don't have kids, but I worked as a pediatric nurse for a long time, and you have to prioritize of what's important, right? There's all these, kids come with all these things, and you're trying to maybe cook and clean and do all these other things in life, and you have to prioritize what's important for you. Obviously, kids would take a priority over watching the latest show on Netflix, hopefully. But so you have to learn to prioritize. And then the third thing I would say is you have to be prepared for change. Well, I'll combine two things on the third one: change and persistence. So number one, you have to be prepared for change. Usually what you start your business with, and you think I'm going to sell this or do this service, it completely changes within a year or less, a few months or whatever, because you get out there in the marketplace and you realize that nobody wants what you're trying to sell. And then I'll just add in there persistence, because it's going to take a lot of work for a long period of time, but the rewards are immense. And I always tell people, like, if you're looking for an easy thing to do, get a job, because you only have, a certain set of skills you have to use in the job, and that's all anybody expects you to have. If you want the hard route, that's a little more financially rewarding usually, and a little more emotionally rewarding and everything, then yeah, do a business, but be prepared to stick it out for the long haul, because it does take a good amount of time to actually build things up.
I think that that's such a wonderful advice, Ken. It's very, very important to know your own strengths and play around with it. And like you've mentioned, that you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You have to. You don't have to run a rat race. Do what you feel like doing it. Whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to do a job, or maybe something else. That's important to learn and understand your own strengths. If it's your passion, absolutely go for it. Such a wonderful advice, Ken. Thank you so much for joining me today as part of the show. It's such a privilege and honor to have you here.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.